So I was sitting around the other day, scrolling through YouTube, and I noticed that Rocky 1, the original from 1976, was free with ads. There's actually quite a lot of movies on YouTube that are free, FYI. And I thought to myself, you know what? I haven't seen this movie in a long time. I got 2 hours to kill, why not throw it on? It seems like everybody thinks that Rocky 2 is the best in the series, or that Rocky 4 is the most memorable, but what about Rocky 1? I mean, this movie won Best Picture for Christ's sake, yet I hardly hear anyone ever talk about it. What made this movie so special? Sylvester Stallone wasn't a big star when this movie was first released, and boxing movies weren't anything like Marvel is today. So what gives? So I figured, screw it. I sat down and started up Rocky. Let me start off by saying this. If you haven't seen the first Rocky movie, go watch this right now. Rocky 1 is so insanely good. I'm disappointed in myself for not rewatching it sooner. Not only is it the best film in the series, by far, but it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. In the context of whatever you would call the online cesspool that is the manosphere, Rocky is such a breath of fresh air. From the literal fighting that Rocky does throughout the film, to the delicate relationship that Rocky forms with Adrian, this movie sends such a positive message to young men / men in general. The movie spends basically the whole first act just showing how much of a creep Rocky is and how much of a lowlife people see him as. Rightfully so, I might add. Scenes like the one where Rocky talks to Adrian about being careful walking home at night, not realizing that she sees him as one of the reasons it might not be safe, to the one where he gives advice to one of the neighborhood girls about valuing her reputation, only to be cussed out.
Yeah,
Hey, Rocky.
Yo.
Screw you, creepo.
I actually love this scene, by the way, because Rocky clearly blacks out for a second, and instead of yelling at her, it's clear that he's just yelling at her about himself and the mistakes that he's made. You really get a sense that Rocky has made mistakes in his life, and he's now reaping what he's sown. Perhaps the best example of this is when Rocky comes home from his fight at the start of the film, and he's talking to himself and his turtles while going through his nightly routine. As he's walking through his apartment, an old photograph of himself as a teenager, hung up on his mirror, catches his attention. The camera lingers for a bit, and then Rocky slowly shifts his attention to his reflection, and you see this clear look of disappointment and resentment on his face. As a guy, this scene is tremendously powerful. That feeling of squandering your opportunities, really in exchange for just nothing, is a form of personal hell. However, it's not all doom and gloom. Fate does turn out to be on Rocky's side, as Apollo Creed's, the reigning heavyweight champs, opponent can't fight in the upcoming bout due to an injury. And Rocky is picked as a last-second replacement to challenge the champ as the hometown hero in the city of brotherly love on President's Day. The way that Creed is portrayed in this film is also done extremely well, as he's not some supervillain or even a trash talker. Creed is clearly shown as a respectable person who ultimately underestimates Rocky, but it's not really done out of a false confidence or disrespect. It's more or less Creed just knows who he is in the film. This is something that will be sorely missed in the later films. After having a falling out with Mick, where Rocky is chewed out and called a waste of life,
It's a living?
It's a waste of life!
he reluctantly agrees to take the title shot. In fact, the promoter has to persuade Rocky to even take the opportunity, even though it's an opportunity of a lifetime and it's being placed at his feet. Now, throughout all this, Rocky is constantly trying to woo Adrian, who's largely unresponsive and pretty shy. Something I noticed about this is the timing of when Rocky goes to see Adrian is usually right after he gets put down in a previous scene. So it's pretty clear and honestly kind of cute that Rocky goes to see Adrian sort of for comfort, even though he knows that she's kind of just going to be there and maybe push him off. He kind of just still views her as a way to get away from everything and kind of as a light in his life. Eventually, he is able to land a date with her after Paulie sabotages Thanksgiving, and Rocky is able to bring Adrian out of her shell. After Rocky and Adrian totally make out, Adrian's demeanor is noticeably changed throughout the rest of the movie. It's solid acting on Talia Shire's parts. She's much more relaxed and doesn't seem like she's very on edge. After a few more Paulie outbursts, and probably the best acted scene of the movie, Rocky making up with Mick,
You come around here, you want to move in here with me? Come on here, it's my house! Real nice, come on in and move! It stinks! This whole place stinks! Want to help me out? Well, help me out!
Seriously, this scene between Rocky and Mick is so phenomenal. You should look up just this scene, and I guarantee it'll make you want to watch the movie. In an insane training montage, we're all set for the Italian Stallion to take on Apollo Creed. One thing I found so interesting about Rocky is just how much it wasn't a boxing movie. I mean, the final fight only takes up like the last 10 minutes of the film. Leading up to the fight, Rocky is clearly nervous, making a point to comment to the promoter that they got his short color wrong on the poster. He's just like, yeah, Rock, we'll get that fixed. It's clear that he's feeling the pressure of the moment. However, right before he enters the ring to face George Washington, Apollo Creed, he speaks to Adrian about how he doesn't care about winning the fight, that he just wants to prove that he gave his all, that he didn't leave anything in the tank. And I can tell you, Rocky does just that. He ends up dropping Creed in the first round and is able to last all 14 rounds. While he ultimately comes up short, losing a split decision, the film doesn't dwell on the result really at all. In fact, I had to rewind the movie to hear the actual decision. It's clear that the intent of this entire movie is that Rocky is battling himself, not Apollo. The film ends right there in the ring, with Rocky calling to Adrian to embrace her. It even overshadows the ending decision. The last line of dialogue in the film is Rocky telling Adrian he loves her. Again, if you haven't seen this movie, go watch it, especially if you're a maladjusted young man addicted to Andrew Tate, one of those podcasts where they just pick on women the whole time. Rocky essentially goes from a bitter, resentful loser who put himself in that situation to reclaiming his life and redefining himself. The movie legitimately gave me goosebumps. This movie probably deserves a longer video because there's so much that I cut down or just skipped entirely, like how charming and awkward Rocky and Adrian's early relationship is, to everything with the loan shark, or the music, or the obsession with like founding father patriotism. All in all that really needs to be said is that Rocky 1 is a phenomenal movie from start to finish, with a solid message and a great story to back it up. And since this movie is free, you literally don't have any excuse not to watch it. And once you do, you'll be mad that you didn't do it sooner. Whoa, didn't see you there. How you doing, film friend? If you like this video and you're interested in subscribing, go ahead and click that button down there. Or if you're on mobile, go fuck yourself. We also have merch available. Check out the store. Phenomenal shirts designed by the experts over at the Film Friends textiles industry. If you liked videos like this, let us know. I think this is the first non-podcast, non-highlight video that we've put out, this more video essay type thing. I'll be honest, I kind of just freeballed this off of some notes I took off the movie. But if you like this type of video, let us know. I'll try to get better at them. I imagine this one's going to come out kind of rough. But yeah, whatever you guys want to see, let us know in the comments. We love hearing from you. Just not those comments that always come up over every video we post. You know which ones I'm talking about. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay filmy, my friends.